desktop audio up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Zed Daily, episode 18. I have my friend Bryce from Sangudo Stallions with me today. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well. So I wanted to start it off by asking you, where does the name Sangudo Stallions come from?
Well, the spelling on there's wrong, but Sangudo is the tiny, tiny town in rural Alberta that I'm originally from. So that's where the name comes from.
Okay, and why Stallions? Did you want Stallions over Phillies, or what, did it just fit the name?
It just fits the two S's kind of roll together good, and I'll delusionally say, still a stallion in my prime.
I like it. I like it. So how did you find Zed Run?
uh, I run. I've ran sim sports leagues, hockey, football, baseball for 20 some years now. So there's like 100 of us in there, and we're all kind of degenerate idiots. So it started with Top Shot. A few of us got into that. I have zero interest in basketball. I was a pump and dumper there when the market was hopping. But one guy mentioned Zed Run with the horse races. So I looked into that and I'm like, this is a math game. This is fantastic. um, so I decided to give it a whirl, called up a buddy of mine who's in the Northwest, whose wife actually is a vet at the racetracks in BC. um, Said, "Hey, you want to do this with me?" And he's the one guy where it'd be like, okay, if we lost whatever we put in, okay, neither one of us is going to be mad at the other one. He's like, "Yeah, I'm in." And then his brother wanted to buy in, just silent partners. So there's three of us there, and my brother's coming on as well, just to run the horses here because we're getting way too many for the few of us to race. So yeah, just stumbled across it in May, joined up, and took a long time to really understand things. But I would say since I got home from my 5 week vacation I take every summer in early August, it's been a big chunk of every day.
So who went and bought the first horse, and what was the strategy behind that first horse?
I bought the first horse. I handle most of the finances and stuff and kind of put the racing strategy out there. And the other guys just kind of follow that are running horses. I bought my first horse from East Coast Stables. He had been giving me some advice. I found one that I liked on OpenSea, and it wasn't a buy it now. And he said, "Hey, just watch yourself with this because you'll put in the full list price, and then he'll raise it the next day." Exactly what happened. So he's like, "I got a similar horse. It was a Z4 exclusive Nakamoto." He's like, "I got a few unraced ones with decent bloodlines. I'll sell it to you at the point four there. Do you a solid," which at the time was a great price. Don't get me wrong. It might sound a little cockeyed now, but at the time was a fantastic price. So bought it from him. Uh, that horse did all right. It wasn't a great runner. We had it for a couple months. Again, I travel a good chunk of the summer. I mean, from the start of May to the end of August, I'm on the road more than I'm home, just with the family. We tour the states and everything like that. So I was at my cousin's in Oklahoma chasing cows in the field, helping them because they got out and got a ping that my horse had sold. So she sold for 0.75, so almost doubled the investment. And so then say, all right, I'm on vacation here, but gonna spend a little time, and bought a couple other horses and started racing. And it's built steadily since then. And actually, one of the ones I bought there with half that money is a legendary Zaba, who's a heck of a breeder. So we're pretty happy with her.
Okay. You said something that I want to go into. You said that you set the racing strategy for the rest of the team. So do you go and find out where these horses need to perform at, and then just relay that to the team and they race them?
Yeah. So again, my background, I'm a financial manager for a not insignificant government association. So finances is my background, and math and analytics and things like that. So I go in. I actually am in the process of doing it this morning here. Usually once a week, I'll go in and do a quick dive through our horses that we still have running and just update our spreadsheet. I created a document that tells you how to run the horses, identifies misran horses, things like that, and then have a summary sheet that everybody can access who runs our horses. And so yeah, I put in, run at this distance, this level, this distance, this level, D class, set up for tournament, send it to the glue barn, as I say, for our one stable where we house horses that aren't always going to be profitable runners, but there's something in the bloodline we want to keep. So we just kind of try to keep the stables clean. So anything that's actually sitting in my stable at the moment or my partner's stable at the moment, we're running it completely. But yeah, I manage that, do a deep dive analysis every week, and then at the end of every month, I do a financial summary. Here's what we spent breeding. Here's what we sent. Here's what we profited flipping horses. Here's what we made racing, all that sort of stuff. So I handle all of that aspect, and then that way they can just focus on running the ponies that I'm running. And a lot of times I end up not running a lot of horses if I'm doing all the analysis, and as we're planning to bring at least one, if not two more guys on to run ponies, it makes a lot more sense, and they get the thrill of that. I get the thrill of doing the analysis, and I keep decreasing capital. That's her behind this shoulder over here.
Okay.
Because she's kind of our beast horse that we bought. Put her in my spreadsheet when a guy was looking to get out. I'm like, ooh, crap, this horse has been horribly ran. There's a lot of potential here, and she's hit that potential for sure.
So let's go into that. What happened? So you saw some guy that needed some money, and he was just running the horse wrong, and you saw an opportunity there?
Yeah, he posted, I can't remember what channel it was in. He was looking to get out. He's got one Genesis left. So it was a Buterin. So I looked at it, plugged it into my spreadsheet. I'm like, ooh, this is a marathoning beast. Why is he running at mid and short distance so much? And I love the short distance because it can declass like a beast there. So made him a low ball offer. He said, no, I can't do that. It's too low. And 5 minutes later came back and said, okay, let's do it. And I think it won like 6 of the first 11 races I raced it in after he sold it. So that was a fun one. That's one of the horses that kind of vindicated the worksheet that I built to identify things like that.
Did you race that horse in the Fibonacci Cup tournament?
I did. I didn't try to qualify. But with the weaker fields, even in her freaking D-class button, she was winning races. So she made it entirely in paid races. I usually keep it in class 4 because she just prints money there. But she made it up through class 3, and then class 2 just dominated as well. So she was up in class 1. She threw flames in the quarterfinal race, but threw a 7th out there. I was not thrilled with that, but then she came back and, won a couple decent races after that. So she made it, but that one race format, that's a killer.
Yeah, it is. It's literally ride or die. If you don't make it on this one, you're gone.
Yeah.
So why did you what was I gonna say? Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. We were talking about what were we talking about?
Just talking about identifying horses and slowly
the horse.
The stable.
Okay, yeah, I remember what I was gonna ask. Why did you go paid racing over freed racing trying to qualify for that tournament?
Because I realized that it's the one race gamble basically in the quarterfinal. And I didn't think she'd make the tournament. I planned on just doing what I always do is, win a $10 or $15 class 4 race, D-class in $2, $3, $4, $2.50 races in class 3 and the sprints and just keep doing that. But then she won like 3 of 6 sprints in freaking class 3. So she was classing up. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just start seeing how high she's going to race here in this field. Because again, I know in a normal case I can declass. All of a sudden I'm 20 races in with an average placement of like 35. I'm like, oh, screw it. I guess she's in. We'll race to win. And she just kept winning in class 2. So she forced my hand, but yeah, I didn't run a single free race with her to qualify. It was not the intent. I have plenty of horses that, yeah, will run to qualify, but she wasn't one of them. She just made it in anyways.
Okay. I asked you that because, you said that you like the D class with that horse, and if you would have done free racing like a lot of people did, they got their horses stuck in C1 because you couldn't down class with those free races. So I like that you did the paid races to still try and get down.
Yeah, and when she wouldn't D class like normal, I was like, oh, screw it. I guess I'll just run her to win and get in. Especially, I mean, she's making money. I'm not going to argue with her.
Right. So you said you had a Z7 Zabo that was a good breeder?
I got a Z8 Zabo that's a good breeder. She's decent free racer. I don't think she's going to get in on this pity point one, but she's, I think, in class 2 now, but she hasn't ran anything other than a free race in months because she just great speed. She just can't win, but she's thrown her horse last time that she threw made the first tournament for offspring. And then the last one here, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting my horses right here. The last one she threw is actually looking pretty decent as well, as a mid distancer. My partner just started running it out. So yeah, we got fun horses anyways. I don't have no Z1s, no Z2s here. I've got 5 Buter and Genesis. I got 1 in the $1 million drop. We haven't touched it, haven't raced it, haven't bred it. That's kind of our shiny new toy kind of thing. And it's fun for us to say that, hey, we started with, half an ETH and look at our stable now in 6 months without anything from drops or, buying ones that it's impossible to fail with kind of thing, like, and that's not a knock on anybody, but yeah, anybody that got in early buying those Z1s and stuff, I mean, you're impossible to fail even where we're at right now. But, and again, not a knock on them. I wish I had that, but I don't. And it helps the amount of time I spend in beginners chat and just getting information in front of new players when they can I actually make money on this? It's nice to be able to show them our stables and say, look, we start with 0.5. I haven't reloaded any money into this at all. It's paid for itself. We don't necessarily race for money like a lot of people. And that sounds weird. We're just trying to identify, hey, where can a horse be profitable? And then we're happy to sell it. Whether that's to an existing player, it sells on OpenSea, or if it's a new player, hey, I want to run in and make some money and here's my budget and it's on the lower. Well, here's this horse, man. If you run it at this distance, you'll be able to turn a profit on it, get familiar. And then I tell everybody all the time, it's going to take at least a month before you have any concept of what you're doing. Yeah. So get in. If you got a horse that you can race and have fun with and learn everything and make a little bit of money, you're laughing because in a month that light bulb will click and you're off to the races.
So how do you guys go about splitting up profit when you are selling these horses?
So our vision is long term. We haven't taken anything out of it as well. I mean, like I said, we didn't put a ton of money in. We originally started with just an even split, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Since then, they outvoted me and changed it up where I have 50% because I'm doing all the work, and they each have 25. And that tells you the kind of guys I'm in with, right? Like they told me I had to take a larger percent. And then we're bringing people on just to buddies of ours, just at a percentage basis. Like, here, you're going to run these horses. You're going to do this. My brother's going to probably come on and help me sell. Just because he has been in my sports leagues for a while and he's got that skill set of knowing how to show what's good in a horse. And we're just bringing people on at percentages. Our vision's long-term. I think this game, I'm not a big crypto guy. I'm so crypto incompetent. It's unbelievable. But I believe in this game from a business perspective. Like I said, I manage, small potatoes to some. I manage a $50 million a year unit and help out with I can't say how large because I don't give away where I work. I help set the budget for a $1 billion government agency. So I understand that aspect. This thing, I couldn't even tell you what I think the limit is on Zed long term. I know I'm branching off here, but
you're good. Keep going.
Man, you think long-term acceptance. And I know, again, if you haven't followed Hunter, Archibald Royal Family, you need to. But the long-term acceptance of this thing is you look, sure, there's running chickens, there's the pictures of apes, there's things like that. If you want to talk about something going to the proverbial moon, it needs widespread acceptance. It's not hard to see, heck, even now, that Caesar's Palace or your local pub can own a track. They can have races up where you have to own a horse to put it in while you're sitting there. And then you get a race against everybody else and everybody there is betting on it. I mean, when I go to Vegas here, I got to lay over there overnight, accidentally, of course, after Christmas. When I'm there in early January, if they had a Zed race up on the screen there that was entered, I mean, that's easy to see right now. It's not far away. And that's where you're going to get mainstream acceptance. The potential for this game is absolutely limitless. So tying it back in, our strategy is long term. We're not worried about taking profits out now. We've been focused on setting up basically our breeding calendar where we have at least one horse breeding every day of the month. Some days we got 3 or 4, but that's been our goal, is to grow that out. And then our males, we keep the ones, we give everybody a shot. We keep the ones that throw good offspring. I've got a legendary super coat, Buterin, that first offspring with one of our horses, Raw Talent, the white one behind me there, who's also a Buterin legendary. Their first horse is I'm going to say a C3 and under beast. He qualified for the tournament last time here. He was born 3 days into the tournament, and he qualified for it easily. So yeah, I'll keep that stud around for sure. The ones that are garbage, I'll sell. If they're terrible, I'm selling them at the floor. Just get rid of them, re-put the money into the breeding. I'm not trying to sell them to a new player at a premium or anything like that. I would rather they get bought on OpenSea, to be completely honest, because they're junk horses. But there's other males we'll keep that, like I said, somebody wants a profitable horse. Here's my Z21 Zabo Elite that, hey, it'll make you money at 1,200 meters. It ain't gonna get bred with. It's not gonna be $1 million horse, but it'll be profitable, especially as you learn, and it's a fun one to have around. So that, again, long-term vision, profits. We're gonna get there. The goal is to hopefully have kind of a rolling income for someone to quit their job and just run horses. Is the long-term goal. I've got a pretty easy job. Technically, I'm working today, but I say easy. I've built it where it's pretty much automated, a lot of it. So we have time to do these sort of things, and it's awesome. I could not be more bullish on Zed. I hate where the market is right now on the sales side, but it'll rebound. There's no doubt, and I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Yeah, I think it'll rebound as well. I just think we're in a slump, and you know, like we had a few rough months, but now we're slowly starting to turn it around. So I think it's hard to notice a cruise ship turning around, right? You just got to give it some time, and you'll notice that you're going the other way. But I wanted to ask you, how do you go about breeding? Do you guys use the blood tool? Are you guys scouting on Zed Run tools, horse lineage? What's your process when you choose a horse to breed with?
I do not have the blood tool. I don't have, how do I word this properly? I don't have the pure quality of horses as far as Z1 Nax, Zabo Genesis horses to justify that investment right now. If I did, I absolutely would. I've heard nothing but good things about it from people that I respect in the game. I've been looking at the Zedge tool. I think it's Shady Acre Stables or something like that they put out. That's useful. I actually have a couple. I think I've got 5 ready to breed right now. I'll probably test that out a little bit. Man, I'll try any theory. I've got my own theories. I like to breed in house on some of them to see if there's something there. Like I said, I've had 4 horses qualify for tournaments so far. 3 of them were bred in house. Yeah, Decreasing Capital is the only one that wasn't. So if I have those parents, I'll keep going back to the well. And I realize that the consistency of hitting similar breeds isn't there yet, but I'll keep trying. Who's to say that one's the best one? You know, Raw Talent, like I said, she's proven that she can throw good racers. I think 3 of her 4 offspring are solid. They're money makers. So yeah, I don't have one that I follow. I've got my own kind of theory that I like to test out at times. And sometimes, honestly, I'll just, okay, how's the cheapest way to breed this in-house? Because I'm probably just going to turn around and flip it for a small profit because I'm not optimistic about this female, or I just happen to have her, even though I would rather sell it, but I haven't yet. So I'll just mash breed, so to speak, and turn a tiny profit off of that. All sorts of different things. I don't think there's one way to do it. I appreciate all these theories and tools and stuff that are out there. They're great resources. But ultimately it's up to an individual player to figure out what works for them and what they're trying to get out of it. You know, do I like the failed supercoat theory? Do I like supercoats? I mean, there's all sorts of things. I've had no success with the failed supercoat theory, but hey, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It does for some people. The inbreeding, things like that. Awesome thing about this game is there's no one way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like we can all have our own ideas, but at the end of the day, we can come and test them and then come to the track and see whose ideas are really like hitting, you know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
oh shit, what was I going to say? What is your favorite bloodline and genotype in the game?
My favorite one is the one that's winning the race or selling at a premium.
So you don't care as long as the horse is good, you don't care about genotype or
I I really don't. Don't get me wrong. Would I love to have a Nakamoto Genesis? Hell yeah. um, but would I rather a Z30 Buterin that's beating that Z4 Nakamoto every day? Yeah, I would. Again, there's different values. Depends what you're doing with horse. Is it to run? Is it to sell? Is it to breed? I tell everybody every time. The answer is almost always it depends.
So how do you feel about the current in-house breeding system? Would you make any changes to it?
Yes, get rid of the need for two stables. Just change the in-house breeding rate to a higher percentage. Number honestly, first and foremost, is because you have so many new people coming in. You got to remember the percentage of people that are in Discord actively is probably quite small. Um, Joe off the street should be able to go buy a horse, buy two horses, breed internally, and save 56% or whatever it is now or more, not having to know the trick of, hey, do two stables, set up two wallets, that sort of thing. That would help retain new players. I don't know it'll necessarily bring any new players in, but it'll help retain them that, oh, I can do this cheaper. Yeah, it's going to crush floor prices, just like this last announcement is and will. But if you're coming in and buying at the floor, what do you think is going to happen? You have to have a realistic expectation. But I just think that's an easy change where I can't remember who said it. I saw it a couple weeks ago and I'd never thought about it. But they figured the reason that they're not doing it is simply because they want to show more unique stables to their shareholders, to marketing the game, which I saw that. I'm like, yeah, that's a great point. That makes sense. Do I like it? No. Do I think they really need that long term? No. But in-house breeding is great. You can breed cheaper. You can run that horse. If it's terrible, you can still sell it at a small profit, but it's going to keep crashing that floor. But I don't care about floor prices. It's where are the good horses selling at really that matters, because floor horses are always going to be there, and they're not where people should be looking to enter the game.
Right, exactly. I mean, we're not into like the profile picture type projects, right? To where the floor means a lot. For this one, I mean, really, it's the floor means nothing on this game.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So, yeah, let me go look at my notes right here. So, I give you the keys to Zed Run. You can change one thing right now. What would you change? You can bring back odds, take away flames, take away fatigue.
I mean, the obvious answer is fix the class system. Throw a couple of tiers at the top. Above class one, there's an elite tier and a championship tier or something like that. And then at the bottom, you've got your maiden tier where you can run until you win a race. And then you've got another tier where it's specifically for horses with over 20 races and less than 5% win rate. And allow those lower tier ones to play their horses out. I know if you've seen BG's work on Twitter, again, if you're not following him, you should be. He looked at what the class point changes meant to the system, and I don't mind the class point system. You're going to have more horses in C5, so you need to split those out. So if you can add those two categories at the bottom, and then so you do that, and then just make the point system 30 points in each instead of 20, and I think you fixed almost all the class system problems anyways. But the main thing, and I still think they're going to do this, we know the next drop's coming in Q1 2022. We know they're doing all these tweaks right now to try to fix racing, in theory, to bring it out of beta and start advertising. If they bring it out of beta, they start advertising around the drop in Q1, and they run a Buterin only tournament for Q1, my goodness, would the market explode. It would go freaking nuts. We would have tens of thousands of new players joining every single day. And I don't know this, but from a business perspective, you have to think that's the plan, because they have announced that last drop, that they're going to start cashing in on some of that marketing that we haven't seen any tangible benefits from. Artois, Atari, perhaps more Netflix, without getting into that chain there. But there's a lot of marketing agreements that we're led to believe are set up that we haven't seen any tangible benefit from yet. That, man, if they cash those in, and I'm sure the team is working on other ones, Q1, this game's going to explode around that drop just naturally. If you add in things to pump it, I mean, it's going to go freaking bananas. And these people that are sitting on these legendaries right now that are selling for less than 0.1, those things are going to triple in value. I don't care what bloodline it is. They're going to triple in value in the span of 3 days. It's going to be awesome. And that's, again, I back that up with our strategy. Like I said, we'll hit 50 horses today when we do some breeding later, because we're doing a team call tonight and we like to race griffins on it. So, we've been building. I haven't worried about selling horses. We had stockpiled up a few. I've sold a few good racers recently. I miss Mother of Bitcoin. She was a good horse. Nice U shape in mid distances, which is hard to find. But the market right now, it's such a great time for people to get in, new players, because, and I'm not saying get in at the floor, although if that's all you can do and you can find something there, great, have at it. But if you can get a decent racing horse right now, that'll make you a little bit of money, man, 3-4 months from now, you're going to be freaking laughing, because you're going to be eventually considered, one of the whales in the game. No matter what type of horses you're buying, if they're good horses that can run, the market for them is just going to be go up, which then you can sell and you can upgrade and you can, follow that process chain, right? So such a fun time at the game. I know it's been rough the last few months with the market due to some of the short-sighted things that Zed has done or had to fix or not thought through, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it's definitely coming. So if you're the head of marketing, what audience are you going to market to? Are you going to start going to like Kentucky Derby commercials or Melbourne Cup commercials? And how are you going to make it easier for that average Joe guy? Are you going to maybe implement something like Top Shot to where you can pay with credit cards or something like that? Because the MetaMask, the Ethereum, the gas fees and all that stuff is kind of a lot for the new guys. So what would you do to simplify it for them?
Yeah, again, I'm a crypto idiot, so I don't. I'm one of those guys that burnt a lot of gas screwing things up trying to get money in, which I warned my partners I would do, because I wasn't super fluid in it. I'm still not. You got to think that they're making it easier to get in. Yeah, your answer, your suggestion's correct. You got to make it easier where you can just buy Weth with a credit card or transfer from Coinbase straight to Weth or something like that, right? Like, and I think we're led to believe that it's coming. I know they've talked about it there, but again, it's over my head. But from a marketing perspective, I mean, the first part has to get figured out with how to get in. So let's assume that happens. Yeah, you can market Kentucky Derby, things like that. Man, chuck an ad up on NBC or whatever it is here in the States that are running those races. We saw the start of that with the Melbourne Cup, but I've heard from a few people in Australia that we really didn't get what the team thought they were going to from Melbourne out of that. So, hey, learn a lesson, I guess. But we've seen it where some TikTok user puts something out there, and all of a sudden we get a wave of new players coming through looking. Now, yeah, a large part of them is, hey, I got $20. Can I get a horse that'll make me $5,000? No, there isn't. Or, hey, who's got a free horse to give me? Those ones drive me freaking nuts. Had one chick trying to send me pictures for a horse yesterday. Like, man, I'm too old and married. Sorry, I'm not your target audience there. But there's so many different ways that they could go about it depending on the generation they want. I think gearing it towards the younger generation is a good idea because they understand a lot of this, the crypto and NFTs just in general. But I think if you're going to get some whales in, you need to be promoting to the horse tracks. Seriously, I mean, why can't Zed do some sort of marketing at every horse track in North America, Australia, wherever it's at? It doesn't have to, have a representative from each city go there and have a TV set up outside the thing or inside the thing showing virtual horse races. And hey, you want to buy a horse? I can set you up, or here's this, like literally have a printout. These are the dummy for people like me, step-by-step instructions of how to get signed up. Take this home, because obviously you're not going to want to be there setting up their MetaMask with their security key. But and you can say, hey, let's look at this horse of mine. Let's run this. You can go through HawkU or KYH or MJ stuff and show them, hey, here's the analytics of the horse, because the people there that are betting on the horses every day, because that's what they love to do. Man, if they could own a horse and they could still do that analysis that they want to, every single one of them would sign up. Every one of them. To be able to do it every single day, if you obviously love it anyways, that's one avenue I'd be going at. Every horse track in America is have a representative there with a TV or a laptop or something showing virtual horse races, having them pulled up, being able to walk users through it. There's a lot of opportunity there. Again, and they've said that they've been very strategic about not marketing yet. They want the game fixed. So again, it all, in my opinion, it all ties back to Q1 2022. Because they gave us that drop date so far in advance, we're seeing all the changes. It's coming. And it's going to be so much fun for those that have had the vision to build that stable and not do that. I'm selling my stable. Zed's terrible. This, and this are bad about it. Those people are going to be kicking themselves in the butt. I've made the correlation that, it's like being in Bitcoin 5 years ago. Yeah, the market had bumped already. It wasn't pennies, but it was the tip of the iceberg. And I truly believe that's where we're at.
Yeah, if you can see the long-term potential and just have the patience to wait it out, I think, like you said, we'll all be well rewarded. What do you think the drop prices on those horses are going to be?
So I've been around for 3 drops. Like I said, the only one I got one in was the $1 million drop, which was the Z10. They're usually close to what the market price is at, but a little bit less. Like, I would say basically take the floor and take 10% off it. But again, your chance of getting a horse in that are going to be so minuscule. And we have no idea how they're going to do it. There's no way they would ever try to do it the way they did the first 2, I would hope. But you think that we've got, whatever the number is, 120,000 people in Discord right now. We know there's another large portion that aren't on Discord. If they tie it in with marketing, I mean, you're going to have at least a couple 100,000 people trying to get 10,000 racehorses. And I say at least a couple 100,000. It's going to be more than that. Your odds of getting one are so small. Right now, with the market as low as it is, because you got to remember, the market's going to increase around that drop too. Because people are going to be getting in. They're going to be realizing, crap, I don't have let's buy a horse now. Maybe save a little just to get one if I can. But right now, whether it's now or in the next month, I use now somewhat relatively. It's the cheapest time you're going to have to get a horse. And if people are getting in now, making their mistakes, learning, and knowing what they're doing by the time the next drop hits, they're going to be in position to take advantage of the huge surge in interest and talent.
Okay, so let's go into right now. In the current buyer's market, I gave you half an ETH. What are you going to go get?
I'm going to get a Finny Genesis male and a Buterin Genesis female and 2 or 3 great racers. 2 or 3 very good racers that I know can run a profit at a certain level. I'm going to try to keep them legendary or exclusive. Probably females. And then that way I've got one male Genesis horse and 3 females that if I want to just breed internally and start to chip away and build a little bit of a profit base or run them out, see what I've got. I would be selective buying that Genesis. I don't care how it runs, the male. I want one that's showing it can throw good horses.
Okay.
That's what I would be doing. I think doing that model, you're going to be set up where you can, 2 months from now, you could potentially have a 10 horse stable just breeding internally. And if your females that you bought are good racers, hopefully they're racing well enough to pay for that in-house breeding. And you're essentially breaking even, but all of a sudden you've got 10 horses here when things might start ripping that you can turn around and sell them at massive profits, or, chip away, sell the bad ones, turn a little profit and reinvest. So that's what I'd be doing. Like I said, I don't take a short-term window to it. I'm looking where we're going to be at a year, 3 years, 5 years down the road, where this game literally could be everywhere and everybody in the world knows what it is. I've sold to a stable down in, I want to make sure I get this right. They are in, the partner's in Spain. He is in, it's not Argentina. Which one is it? It's one of the Southern America countries. I'm sorry, Chalupa, I can't remember which one. Was talking to a guy the other day in Honduras. Obviously, we know we've got our Britons and a few Irish people in there that are awesome. This game is becoming more and more global, and it's just going to continue to do so.
I agree as well. So what do you quantify as a good racer, and like how are you going to look that up? How many wins, how many races, and do you hold weight on the flame percentage?
I don't give a crap about flames, to be completely honest. I do. I right away, early on, when you first start running a horse out, yeah, flames are a great indicator to see, should I run here? Or I had this happen last night where we ran a horse, 3 times at each distance in paid races. It didn't do a thing. Threw it to our glue barn. I just threw it in a few free races just to see if there's something there. Oh, there's a flame at 1,800 meters. So maybe it's not good enough to flame in a normal race. And then I put it in a paid one. It didn't flame and it won. My personal theory is I like at least 3 to 5 paid races at every distance before I start evaluating a horse. And then if I see flames or a podium finish, I'm going to run that out at least 10 times. Let me get a little bit of a sample size. But to identify a good horse, I mean, the easy way is just look at the ROI. Is it positive? But under 20 races, it really means nothing. Not nothing, but it's not enough. I'm very specific about looking at distances that can be profitable. I was talking to a guy here. I've got 10 horses for sale right now under 0.2 ETH that are profitable at a distance. Some of them multiple, but at a distance. And then it's just building up that sample size. I mean, if there's one that's profitable 20% after 50 races at a distance, hey, you know what you can do with this horse. Just run the stupid thing and chip away at your profit, right? Smaller sample size though. I mean, if I see a horse that's thrown a flame or two, it's got a first and a second, man, this is going to be a good horse. I might not have time to really invest in it. I might list it up for sale, but this thing can make money for sure. But you need to see that win. I tell guys all the time, don't buy a positive ROI horse that doesn't have paid wins, because there's a huge difference between being able to win and being able to show. And there's a huge difference in profit long-term. And I've got a few of those horses, and the tournament running right now is perfect for them. I've got one horse who couldn't win a paid race to save their life that flames and wins and third, fourth, every freaking race in free races. We've got one horse that flames every race and finishes third or fourth. And those are out there. Again, flames are a good tool early on, but once you get 30 plus races into a horse, you got to start looking at win rate. It doesn't matter to me at all if the horse flames. If I know it can win at a distance and it has one at the distance, I pay no heed to it once I get 50, 100 races into it. It's cool to see. You like to see it. There's some resale value on it there for sure. But they've also told us flames aren't going to stick around forever. Just like odds didn't stick around forever. And I doubt they ever come back because it's too much of a cheat code. And I get some of the arguments for it, and I don't disagree with some of the arguments for it. I just don't think that's what they want to build around.
How do you think they go about betting when they do introduce it?
I don't think they're going to. I know they've talked about it. I don't think Zed in itself is going to be able to have betting unless they have the odds visible. Because otherwise, I mean, you can bet on win rate. I just don't think it's practical on a large scale. I think that you'll have third-party tools that are able to do betting, and I know Zed Guru has one that he's building that me and another guy were testing for him. As far as being able to just put the horse information in there and then people can bet, and that's kind of the betting pool that gets paid out, and how the odds are set is based on how people are betting. A lot like Sean versus all streams or things like that. I think that's probably the future, and I could be completely wrong. I don't have any inside knowledge, but when you look at the terms and conditions and some of the regulations around betting out there, I don't know that they are going to have the regulatory ability to really do betting within the game, if that makes any sense.
Because it'd be like too complicated to do it on a global scale.
Yeah, and unless you have, like I said, if they bring odds back, I think that's a good indicator there will be betting. But unless you have that fundamental understanding from the game of what a horse's likelihood to win is clearly laid out like that, I don't know that there's a good enough way that they're going to be able to tie that to online gaming, so to speak, or online betting, I should say. Again, that's just my opinion, and then that's even without touching the different regulations in each country, state, things like that. So I hope it does. I hope I'm dead wrong, because again, that's something else to market. But they might partner with Joe's betting site or something like that, where they have their own in-house way of whether it's setting odds or tracking races and pre-populating and things like that. That I could see.
Yeah, it would be interesting depending on like each jurisdiction, because where I live, online gambling's illegal. But I know in like Nevada, it's perfectly fine. So
yeah, I live in Colorado. It's perfectly legal here now. So
okay.
Yeah, it makes it tough. I know they can get around it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, without odds, there's no great way to set it up, really. Which, hey, that's an argument for odds. One I don't disagree with. I don't see that being at the top of their list anytime soon.
You have an unlimited budget, and you can pick one horse, any horse in the game, any Z1, any racer. Pick any horse you like. What's your favorite horse? Which horse would you get, and why?
Oh, that's a good question. There's no wrong answer here, which is nice. Billions. Name value, racing, breeding. I'd take billions.
Okay.
Again, there's no wrong answer with that one. But that would be a fun value. Again, the name value, the name, everything just ties in amazingly.
So you guys said you started with half an ETH. If you were to liquidate today, how much Ethereum could you sell your stable for?
Yeah, it was a little over 6 months ago we joined. I do this every month when I kind of do our monthly wrap up, where I go through and basically price our horses at the floor of what similar horses are going through. Haven't done it this month yet, obviously, but I think last month we were about 13 ETH.
Damn.
If we liquidated it all. Yeah, no, we've been successful. We've had some good buys. I mean, a lot of our higher priced horses, which at this point is above half an ETH, we have priced high. If they sell, great. If I wake up in the morning and have a notification, great. I'm pumped that it sold for that. all of our lower ones, we try to price fair. I'll knock a little bit off for new players too, just trying to get them set up so they have, hey, my budget's 0.2. Well, you need money to breed, you need money to race. So let's see at 0.17 or something like that. But yeah, we've been successful. We've sold a lot of horses. Um, Again, our racing numbers, I haven't looked on KWH. They're probably not great because we're using racing for a different tool, save for a few horses. I did just update things. I think we had 8 of them running for a profit so far this month, just overall. But yeah, we're quite happy with the way the stable's grown. Like I said, our vision's more long term, so it's a lot of in-house breeding. Okay, this one good long term, stash it over here kind of thing. But yeah, we've multiplied it quite a bit actually.
I like that. I like that. And then I got one more question for you. What is like your most wholesome moments is in Zed? Is it bringing in a new person? Is it breeding a monster? Is it winning a race with a newly bred horse? Like what makes you feel good inside when you play Zed Run?
I obviously enjoy helping new players get set up, and it's getting the information in front of them. I mean, and then answering their questions as they go. And then the odd time where it's like they do end up, well, what do you got available? And I'll show them our horses, and they're like, okay, well, tell me about this horse, and I'll tell them, and then they'll buy it from me. I know Prodigy Stables is a perfect example. Again, different markets, so these prices are going to sound whack, but I sold him a couple of Finney Legendaries. They were UUUs at the time that I had bought. Because I love the bloodlines. I think this one will be able to race quite well, be profitable, and I think it's going to kick off good offspring too, based on, its nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, all that sort of stuff. And he looked at, we went back and forth for a while, and then he's like, I think I'm going to buy those 2 UUs that you have. All right, great, man. I said, just understand, first purchase, UUUs, and these aren't priced at the floor. They're a gamble. I said, I don't want to say as likely to be garbage as they are to be great horses. I said, I truly believe in them. That's why I'm holding them. And this is why I haven't raced them yet. And I explained what my logic was there. And he bought them. And I think, and I'm going to get it wrong, but I'm going to be in the ballpark. I think in their first 5 races they ran for him between the two of them. So 10 races total, there was 4 firsts and 3 seconds. Like it was sick. And I know they've kicked out good offspring for him too. So honestly, I get really excited for that because I set a guy up right. And again, those happen to be UUs. That's very rare that I'll sell one of those to a new player. And I tell him, not the way I would go. The way you want to go, that's fine. That's not the way I would go. And yeah, when they get set up, they take the time to learn. They ask the questions. And then again, if they do buy from me and that horse does exactly what I thought it would or better, I'm pumped for him. There's a little bit of crap. I should have kept that horse, but at the same time too, in the future when they're looking for more horses, they're going to come back to you if you did them right to start with. And that's my whole shtick. And I know I talked about that on the Zed Run podcast I did, which was a beginner podcast, what to look for, that sort of thing. Yeah, you set people up right. And I don't exaggerate when I say that I have set up probably hundreds, if not thousands, get into Zed, answer their questions, make sure they have the resources in front of them. Follow the content creators. Have a beginner guide that's a little more dummy specific than the Zed one, and I've built one of those, and just link them to data, get it in front of them, because that's a healthier market for all of us.
Do you got any questions for me, man?
How awesome did it feel there watching Diamonds come in third in the Redwood Classic or whatever it was called?
Man, it's honestly life-changing, like a digital horse can win that much money. It's life-changing. It's hard to put a point, like a name on that feeling, It's just like anxious, nervousness, excitement, fear, all that. So it felt good though. It felt nice to at least pull out a third.
No, it was awesome. I'll speak on behalf of the community. These daily things you do are fantastic. They're an awesome, like I said, personally, they're an awesome way to get through my workday. But no, they're very informative. You have a lot of really good guests in there. This is an awesome thing that you do.
Thank you so much, man. I think we need people like you as well that are going to help these people out in the Discord. And you're doing good business, right? Like you're selling good breeds to where you're going to get returning business because you're actually giving people a good shot at getting a good horse when you sell them those UUUs and all that stuff. And just giving them good information to help them learn about the game.
Yeah, no, there's maybe 1% of new players coming through that I talk to that ever buy a horse from us, and that's fine. That's not the intent. I sell most of my horses just through OpenSea because they're priced fairly. Um, it's getting guys in with the information so that they have it and they can be successful because then they stick around. And that's the key thing.
Yeah, 100%. As long as we can keep them here, keep playing, we'll all be good. And like you said, I think people that sell their horses might be kicking themselves down the street.
I don't think there's any doubt that in 3 months they're going to be kicking themselves, especially selling now. I mean, you're going to liquidate your stable when things are at an all-time low. When we've got, like I said, this beacon in front of us of when it's going to be somewhat impossible for the market not to boom. Yeah, unless you're in a crappy situation where you need to get the cash now, you're foolish if you're liquidating, in my opinion.
Yeah, but hey, we'll see how time plays out. Thank you so much for your time, Bryce. Where can people contact you and catch you at?
You can get me on Twitter at Sangudo Stables. You can see me in beginner chat and Discord all the time. I'm always around there. Yeah, hit me up, ask questions. I'll show you. Cheap plug. I'll show you what we've got available. I do have a Discord as well. That it's very beginner centric. There's a bunch of guys in there, prospect stables, mogul mocks that help in the normal beginner. They help guys that are in my Discord as well as we get them set up, and we do some fun things there. I do a monthly UUU giveaway to anybody that has bought a horse from us and give them my race analytic tool and things like that. So, yeah, you can hit me up. I'm happy to talk anytime. A lot of times I'm streaming with ECS on Tuesdays. I'm around. I'm not that hard to find.
Sweet. And then how can people join your Discord? Where can they go find that at?
Just ping me on Discord, in the Zed Discord, and I'll shoot you the link to that if anybody's interested.
Sweet. Thank you so much, man, for the great conversation.
All right, man. Thank you. Take care.
You as well. Have a good day.
All right, bye.